Can everyone at the jail hear and see me?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You are here for an initial appearance after detention. The rules of criminal procedure require that you be brought before a judicial officer within 24 hours of your arrest. The purpose of the initial appearance is to have a judge list the charges against you, inform you of certain rights that you have, and to determine the conditions of your release. You should have already received a copy of these charges. The judge will review your paperwork to determine if there was probable cause to arrest you. If the judge finds probable cause, he or she will then determine if you qualify for bond and what the monetary and non-monetary conditions of your bond should be. If the judge does not have enough information to make a probable cause determination for your arrest, the state may be given additional time to amend the paperwork. You should also be aware of the following rights afforded to you by the Constitution. You are not required to say anything at this proceeding. Anything you say can be used against you. You have the right to communicate with counsel, family, or friends, and if necessary, you will be provided a reasonable means to do so. You have the right to counsel. If you have not already retained counsel and cannot afford counsel, the judge will appoint you a public defender. For the purposes of today's initial appearance proceedings, you may be able to briefly speak with a public defender regardless of whether the public defender is appointed for you. In order to have an attorney appointed by the court to represent you, you must be financially eligible, as determined by the court based on financial information you provide. Therefore, if you have not already done so, please complete, to the best of your knowledge, the financial affidavits provided by the correction officers. An application fee for the services of appointed counsel will be assessed. If you do not speak English or Spanish, please let a corrections officer know. When the judge is ready, she or he will begin calling your case by name. Please listen carefully for your name. When called, please approach the microphone as directed by the corrections officers. Thank you.
Usted se encuentra aquí para una audiencia o vista preliminaria, después de haber sido arrestado. Las leyes y estatutos criminales del estado de la Florida requieren que se celebre una vista preliminaria ante un oficial judicial dentro de un plazo de 24 horas después de su arresto. El propósito de esta vista preliminaria es para que el juez pronuncie los cargos contra usted, para que se le comunique a usted sus derechos procesales y para determinar las condiciones de su libertad o fianza. Ya usted debería haber recibido una copia de estas alegaciones o acusaciones por escrito. Ahora, el juez revisará la documentación en su caso para determinar si existe motivo fundado o causa probable para su arresto y detención. Si el juez determina que existe causa probable o motivo fundado, entonces decidirá si usted califica para que se le otorgue una fianza, tanto como cuáles serían las condiciones monetarias o no monetarias de dicha fianza. Si el juez no posee suficiente información para determinar si existe causa probable o motivo fundado para justificar el arresto, se le concederá a la Fiscalía tiempo adicional para modificar la documentación. También se les avisa que posee los siguientes derechos que se les otorgan por la Constitución. A usted no se le puede obligar a decir nada durante esta vista. Cualquier cosa que diga podrá ser utilizada en su contra como evidencia. Usted tiene el derecho de comunicarse con un abogado, pariente o amigo, y si es necesario, que se les proporcione los medios razonables y disponibles para hacerlo. Usted tiene el derecho a un abogado. Si todavía no ha encontrado o contratado un abogado y no tiene los recursos para hacerlos, entonces el juez le nombrará un defensor público. Para el propósito de la audiencia preliminar de hoy, se le permitirá hablar brevemente con un abogado de la Oficina del Defensor Público, aun cuando no se le haya nombrado para representarle en todo el caso. Para poder recibir la designación de un abogado, primero debe calificar económicamente según lo determine el juez. Esto será basado en la información financiera que usted proporcione aquí. Por lo tanto, si no lo ha hecho todavía, de la mejor manera posible, por favor, llene el formulario de insolvencia económica que se le ha proporcionado por el oficial de correcciones. Se le impondrá un recargo o costo por los servicios del defensor público. Si usted no habla inglés, por favor, hágale saber al oficial de correcciones. Cuando esté listo, el juez comenzará el proceso llamando a cada una persona y caso por su nombre. Por favor, esté pendiente para pasar adelante cuando escuche su nombre y cuando escuche su nombre, haga el favor de acercarse al micrófono, tal como le indique el oficial de correcciones. Muchas gracias por su atención.
That was so fast.
Okay, I think I'm on the record. Do I need the interpreter? Because I noticed we've got several Spanish cases. Now, do I do that on this box or over here somewhere? It says interpreter.
Yes,
Is that right?
it's the interpreter button.
Yeah. Oh. There we go. Boy, that is loud, whatever that is.
Yeah.
They're not home.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Laura Bretaña, certified Spanish interpreter, previously sworn.
Madam Interpreter, hang on a second. We're trying to turn up the volume so I can hear you. Have you been previously sworn?
Yes, I have been sworn.
Okay, thank you. And could you state your name again? Because we've got some background noise in the courtroom it's kind of loud, so I couldn't hear you.
Yes, this is Laura Bretaña, state certified Spanish interpreter.
Thank you very much. All right, let me call up the cases that need Spanish interpreter. And for the record, I've got state here. Would you announce your name?
Yes, Wesley Baker for the state of Florida.
Okay, and do I have a public defender?
Yes, Your Honor. Trevor Darnell for the Law Office of Melissa Vickers, Public Defender.
Okay, so we'll call the first Spanish case.
25 CF 241. Sorry. Alberto de Jesus Berrientos Pena, PD denied due to income. Incomplete, sorry.
It's incomplete.
Incomplete.
Okay, I will temporarily appoint the public defenders for purposes of a first appearance. And before me today is Mr. Alberto Buenos Pena. Boy, I messed up your last name, sorry. Sir, can you hear and understand our interpreter?
Señor, ¿usted me escucha y me entiende?
Sí, la escucho.
Yes, I can hear.
Okay. Sir, you've been arrested and you're being charged with, false imprisonment and domestic violence by battery by strangulation.
Señor, usted fue puesto bajo arresto, se le acusa de restricción de la libertad y agresión física por violencia doméstica de estrangulación.
And you've been screened for pretrial release. You do not qualify for that.
Se le evaluó para libertad provisional, pero no cumple con los requisitos.
If the victims are going to attend these appearances, do they come to the courtroom or they go out to the jail?
They come here. Yeah.
And has anybody appeared on his behalf?
I did not see anyone outside, Your Honor.
Okay. So what's the bond set at right now?
0.
0?
¿La fianza cuál es? Ninguna.
I'll find probable cause as to false imprisonment and also as to domestic violence by strangulation, domestic battery by strangulation. I'll set the false imprisonment and bond in the amount of $10,000 and the domestic battery by strangulation in the amount of $250. If he does make bond, he's not to have any contact directly or indirectly with the victim, and he's not to return to the location. State, anything else you want?
Muy bien, señor.
Not this
Determino,
time, Your Honor.
Sorry, go ahead.
muy bien, señor. Determinó que existen indicios de criminalidad en cuanto a las acusaciones que pesan en su contra de restricción de la libertad y agresión física por violencia doméstica. En cuanto a la acusación de agresión física por violencia doméstica, la fianza es de $10,000, restricción de la libertad $250. Como condición de la fianza, se le prohíbe todo tipo de contacto con la víctima y se le prohíbe regresar a la escena del ilícito.
Okay, and Mr. Public Defender, is there anything else that you would like to address the court regarding this case?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much.
El abogado de oficio desea atender algún asunto, no en este momento, su señoría. Muy bien, señor, muchas gracias.
Next court date on demand.
La fecha de la próxima audiencia será por señalamiento judicial.
Your Honor, just to clarify, you did order no contact with the victim?
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
And
Your
no
Honor.
return to scene.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
Señoría, para que quede claro, ¿se le prohibió el contacto con la víctima? Sí. Y también regresar a la escena del ilícito.
Next case, 25 CT 371, Juliana Diaz Alivinata, PD approved.
He's approaching, Your Honor.
Thank you. And has the public defender already been appointed?
Yes.
Okay, and can you hear and understand our interpreter?
Señor, ¿usted me escucha y me entiende?
Sí.
Okay.
Yes.
Do I understand that there is a hold on her for an immigration status?
¿Tiene ella una orden de retención de inmigración?
Thank you. While you're checking on that, I'm going to find probable cause on operating a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license.
Es lo que me verifica. Determino que existen indicios de criminalidad ante la acusación de conducir un vehículo de motor sin licencia válida.
I'll appoint the public defender's office.
Se designa a la oficina del abogado de oficio.
PTR.
Can I ask the PTR people for clarification where it says immigration status?
We're trying to find that out for you. One moment, Your Honor.
Okay. Would it be better if I pass this or just have her stand there for a little bit?
No, it'll be short.
Okay.
Al programa de libertad provisional le pregunto que me explique por qué anotaron aquí la palabra inmigración. Le estamos verificando, su señoría.
Your Honor, she does not currently have an immigration hold.
Stay with your position on bond.
Your Honor, I believe she is entitled to bond. I don't see any prior offenses. And
I'm inclined to release her on her own recognizance.
state has no objection.
Court will release her on her own recognizance.
Su señoría, ella no tiene una orden de retención de inmigración. La fiscalía tiene algo que decir en cuanto a la fianza. No, su señoría, ella no tiene antecedentes. Me inclino a concederle caución juratoria. La fiscalía no se opone.
Please keep in contact with the public defender's office.
Señora, por favor, manténgase en comunicación con la oficina del abogado de oficio.
Do we already have another court date for her? Okay, we have a court date to tell you to return to court here in this courthouse.
Ya tenemos la fecha de la próxima audiencia. Le vamos a informar en unos minutos.
Next court date, February 21st, 8:30 a.m., courtroom 4B.
La fecha de la próxima audiencia será el 21 de febrero a las 8:30 de la mañana en la sala 4B.
Don't forget to come back to court, otherwise they'll issue a warrant for you.
Señora, no se olvide de regresar al tribunal porque, por el contrario, emitirán una orden de arresto en su contra.
And don't drive unless you've got a valid driver's license.
No conduzca a menos de que tenga una licencia válida de conducir.
Nothing further from the state.
Thank you very much.
Nada más de parte de la fiscalía. Muchas gracias, señora.
Next case, 25 CF 249, Emmanuel Gonzalez Gonzalez, PD denied due to incomplete application.
Okay. Court will appoint the public defender's office for purposes of first appearance. And Mr. Gonzalez is approaching. Mr. Gonzalez, can you hear and understand our interpreter?
Señor González, ¿usted me escucha y me entiende?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I've appointed the public defender's office.
Se designa el abogado de oficio.
I'll find probable cause of resisting with violence.
Determino que existen indicios de criminalidad ante la acusación de resistir a las autoridades.
Can the pretrial information people tell me why you have other legal constraint? Is he on probation or something?
Le pregunto al programa de libertad provisional, ¿por qué han anotado que tiene otras situaciones legales? ¿Está cumpliendo él con régimen de libertad vigilada?
No, Your Honor, but he does have an outstanding warrant out of New Mexico.
He has a what out of Mexico? I didn't catch it.
A warrant out of New Mexico.
New Mexico or Mexico?
New Mexico, sorry.
So he's got an out-of-state warrant?
Yes,
I would presume he's got no bond on that. Is that correct?
I don't have that information.
Su señoría, lo que ocurre es que él tiene una orden de arresto del estado de Nuevo México. Presumo que es una orden de arresto sin fianza. No tenemos información.
A great question.
So can the sheriff's office tell me, or the warrant section of the sheriff's office tell me, is there a bond on the New Mexico warrant?
La oficina del sheriff podría decirme si hay una fianza en la orden de arresto de Nuevo México.
This refers to Mexico, but I think that might be his.
New Mexico, we can run it and we can find out if there is one.
Okay.
Podríamos verificar si tiene fianza.
So,
Clarify, Your Honor, is it Emmanuel Gonzalez did work 12/17 of 1989?
sir, is that your date of birth?
Estamos para estar seguros hablando de Emanuel González González, fecha de nacimiento 17 de diciembre de 1989. Señor, ¿esa es su fecha de nacimiento?
Sí.
Yes.
It'll be a couple minutes, Your Honor, but I can find out.
Okay, perfect. Mr. Gonzalez, we'll call you back in a few moments once we have an answer to the court's question.
Necesito unos minutos,
call you
su
back.
señoría. Muy bien, señor González González. Dentro de unos minutos convocaremos nuevamente su caso.
Okay? We'll call another one. Thank you.
Next case, out of county, 22MM003040, no PD application found.
And do we
That-
need the interpreter for this one?
We shouldn't, I don't think so.
Madam Interpreter, should we call you back?
Yes, please.
Okay, we'll call you back. Thank you very much.
Your Honor,
Yes?
in reference to Mr. Gonzalez before the interpreter goes, I see here on the paperwork that we have, it says hold without bond. It's for an FTA.
Failure to appear where?
That's for the New Mexico warrant.
You caught
Su
that?
señoría.
I missed it. Let me
En
see.
cuanto al señor González González, veo aquí que tiene una orden de arresto sin fianza por falta de comparecencia.
Okay. So State, do you want me to set a bond in this case, recognizing that they're not going to let him go because New Mexico wants him?
The state would not have an objection to setting bond in this case with the knowledge that he will not be released due to New Mexico.
And what bond would you suggest? It looks like it's resisting with violence. It's a standard bond on that. 5,000? I don't know.
I believe it's a third-degree felony, so I believe it would be 5,000, Your Honor.
Defense, what do you want for a bond?
Defense would request a $1,000 bond in this case, Your Honor.
En este caso, le pregunto a la fiscalía si desean que le conceda una fianza en el caso de nosotros, sabiendo que no podrá salir de la cárcel, ya que el Estado de Nuevo México tiene una orden de arresto en su contra sin fianza. Si su señoría podría concederle una fianza. ¿Cuál es la fianza usual para este tipo de caso? Desobedecer, resistirse a las autoridades, $5,000. Sí, es un delito de tercer grado, así que la fianza es de $5,000. Su señoría, la defensa tiene algo que decir. Sí, su señoría, estamos solicitando una fianza de $1,000.
Considering the allegations that are alleged, the court will set the bond in the amount of $5,000. Thank you very much.
Según el documento acusatorio, la fianza será de $5,000. Muchas gracias, señor.
I think that's it, Madam Interpreter. Thank you very much for all your help.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Right?
Next court date on demand.
No conditions, right?
Yeah.
All right, next case, Dedrick Jermaine Malik Robbins, 22MM003040, out of county, no PD application found.
Lake County.
I said out
And
of
which county is he out of?
Lake County.
Lake County. All right. Are you Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins, you're being held for a warrant that comes out of Lake County. So they'll hold you till Lake County picks you up. Right? Thank you very much.
Next case, 23CF2210, Cameron Andrew Rubino, PD approved.
Mr. Rubino refused to be brought to IAs today, Your Honor. The Public Defender's Office would waive his appearance.
Okay. Have we appointed? It looks like we got a 25 case also.
Yes, also 25CF240.
Okay. It also looks like he's anti-murder. Looks like he's going to get a bond on the BOP. So you all tell me how you want me to do this. Just reset it for tomorrow? Or you want me to just appoint the PD, waive his presence, give him no bond? He's going to get no bond on the amended affidavit for violation of probation because he's anti-murder on the face of it. Anybody have any objection to me doing that?
The state would not have an objection, Your Honor.
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'll find PC on the amended violation of probation, finding the bond should be set at no bond due to the anti-murder statute. They haven't repealed that, right? I'll find PC on a new law offense of possession of controlled substance, resisting without violence, and possession of drug paraphernalia. On the possession of controlled substance, the bond it, or leave it at 2,500, 500 for resisting without, and 500 for possession of drug paraphernalia. And I'll appoint the public defender in both cases, the new one and the VOP. So we can report dates for the two different ones.
For the 23 CF case, next court date would be February 11th, 8:45 a.m., courtroom 5F. For the 25 CF case, next court date would be on demand.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Next case, 25 CO1, Dennis Vendilenetto Correa, PD approved.
Did Brown Clark? What happened to her? Victoria Brown Clark, or did I get out of order?
Oh, I see. Sorry, we went out of order.
That's okay. We'll do Mr. Korea's already there. Yeah, that's okay. Did you say the PD was appointed? Okay. All right, so. Ms. Korea, am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm gonna find probable cause on violating a county ordinance. State that's what you're charging her with, right? Or that's what she's been arrested on, I should say.
Yes, Your Honor.
So is she currently out on bond or was?
She is, Your Honor. There, she does have another case with the same charge.
What's the typical bond on that kind of charge on a county ordinance?
Your Honor, I'm honestly not sure. I know the paperwork is showing $250, so I would go with that, but
Okay.
Apologies.
And is she looking at jail time, so she would qualify for the PD to be appointed?
I'm not sure. Our office doesn't handle the CO cases.
Oh, that's right, it's another attorney. Okay. All right, so out of an abundance of caution, I'll appoint the public defender's office. I'll set bond in the amount of $250. Ma'am, if you keep getting yourself arrested, eventually you're going to get a judge that won't give you a bond. Did they revoke her bond that she's already posted?
Yeah,
No, I'm not going to revoke it either. $250 to get out. Public defender's appointed. Give her another court date.
On demand.
All right, good luck. Thank you.
Next case, 25MM179 Victoria L. Brown Clark, PD denied due to income over and incomplete application.
All right, Ms. Brown Clark?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. State, have you had any contact with the victim? I think it says, if I remember this one correctly, that the victim was in the process of moving out of the mutual home and has at this time left the home?
That is my understanding as well, Your Honor. I have not had contact with the victim.
Okay, and they, I believe, share a child together.
Yes, Your Honor, I believe that's correct.
Okay, so Ms. Brown Clark, how old is your child?
17 years old.
Okay. State, what kind of bond are you suggesting?
Your Honor, I believe this is Ms. Brown Clark's first offense. The state would recommend bond along the normal schedule with no contact with the victim.
What is the normal schedule? I don't have that.
Honestly, I'm not sure, Your Honor. I believe for a first degree misdemeanor battery would be, I think, around $500.
Okay. Ms. Brown Clark, can you afford $500 to bond out? If you post cash, you'll get it back when you appear in court or when the case concludes.
I don't think I have that in person at this time. But I will see if I can get it.
Where do you work?
ORMC.
ORMC?
Yes.
Okay. What do you do for ORMC?
I'm a registered nurse.
All right. Over the strenuous objection, the state court's going to release you on your own recognizance. As a condition of your release, you're not to have any hostile contact with the alleged victim. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And I'm assuming he's moved out, so I'm not restricting you from returning home. You can go home. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Do we have another court date? Okay, so the prosecutor's office is going to make a filing decision. Do you want me to appoint the public defender's office? I think, how much is that fee to appoint? 50? Well, then they file a lien, whether they file the case or not, don't they? Mr. Public Defender, do you know if they decide not to file this, would there be a lien that you all would be processing against her?
I believe there is a $50 fee associated with completing the application itself, and then there's another $50 for the representation if they do end up filing the charges, Your Honor.
Okay, so Ms. Brown-Clark, you have the right to have an attorney advise you and represent you. I will not appoint the public defender right now because I am releasing you on your own recognizance. I don't want to run up a bill that you'd have to pay if the state ends up not filing these charges, okay?
Yes, sir.
So if the state does file the charges, you'll need to come back to court, and at that time, you can tell the judge that you want a lawyer, or you can hire your own lawyer, okay? I don't know if you'll qualify for an appointed public defender, okay?
Yes, sir.
That's all right. All right. You'll be out today. You can go home. Don't have any hostile contact with the father of your son, okay?
Oh, thank you, Your Honor.
You're very welcome. Good luck.
Next case, 25 CT 372, Arnaldo Gabriel Dueno Montanez. PD denied due to incomplete application.
Okay. Are you Mr. Arnaldo Dueno Montanez?
Yes.
Okay. What is he out on bond on? Do you know?
Your Honor, he does have two open cases. He has 2023 CT 3983, which is a driving while license suspended, and he also has 24 CT 5801, which is a no valid driver's license.
Okay, so it's all driving offenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll find a probable cause on Juveniles. What's an equivoc status? What is that?
I believe that's just part of the statute, as in like essentially it's either driving while license suspended or any other thing that would relate to that.
Oh, okay, okay. I never did county court, so I'm not up on driving stuff.
To be honest, Your Honor, I did not either.
All right, and state what kind of bond are you looking for at this?
Due to the two other open driving cases, the state would be requesting a higher bond than I guess what's normally scheduled, which would be $500. So the state would be requesting $1,000.
Okay. Mr. Montanez, do you want me to appoint the public defender's office?
Yes.
I'll appoint the public defender's office. I find him to be at least partially indigent. I am going to set the bond at $1,000. Sir, if you post the bond, don't drive unless you got a valid driver's license. You get caught again, you're going to get a judge that's not going to let you out.
Understood.
All right. Thank you. They'll let you know when the next court date is, right? Unless you already have.
Next court date, February 6th, 8:30 a.m. courtroom 4B. If out on bond, March 7th, 8:30 a.m. courtroom 4B.
So if you make your bond, you got that date in March. If you don't make your bond, you'll be back here in February, right?
Yes.
Your Honor, I did want to confirm that, will you be taking any action on the open cases?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
The bondsman might want to, but I'm not going to. Okay, thanks. All right.
Next case, 25 MM184, Ramon Enoch Fernandez. PD approved.
So, Mr. Fernandez, public defender is appointed to represent you. It looks like the court's going to find battery, domestic violence. I believe state, if I understood what I read, that this is allegedly the same victim that he's out on bond on.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, what kind of bond you want?
Based on him already being out on bond, the state would request his bond be revoked in his other open case and that bond be set at the court's discretion.
Okay. Mr. Public Defender, what kind of bond are you suggesting for the new law offense? I'm gonna revoke his bond on the outstanding bonds.
I would request a bond in line with the schedule of $500 on this first degree misdemeanor.
Okay. Considering the aggravation of same victim, same charge, court will set it at, did you say 1,000?
I just said court's discretion, Your Honor.
I'll set it at 1,000, but I'm revoking the other bond.
And Your Honor, the state would also just
No
request no contact with the victim and no return.
If you do make this bond, you're not to have any contact directly or indirectly, which means no phone calls, no reaching out through any kind of social media posting with the victim. Obviously, no in-person contact. And once again, I'm revoking the prior bonds. All right. He just waits till you guys figure out filing, right?
Yes. So next court date will be on demand.
All right. Good luck.
Just to confirm with you, will he also not be able to return?
Yeah, he's not to return, not to have contact directly or indirectly with the victim. Yes, absolutely no return. Yeah.
Thank you.
Next case, 25MM175, Dwayne Andre Hargis, PD approved.
Mr. Hargis, I'm going to find probable cause on battery. It looks like it's domestic violence, doesn't it, State?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe that's what it looks like to me as well.
DV battery.
Your Honor, actually, I'll amend that. Reading the first full paragraph of the arrest affidavit, it does say that the defendant was returning to the victim's apartment, so I'm not sure if they were cohabitating at the time or not.
Well, it looks like they were living together and it was a question of who was going to remain.
That's my reading. I don't want to speak for now, just when I'm not 100% sure, Your Honor.
So what kind of bond are you looking at?
Your Honor, the state would request bond be set along the schedule with no contact with the victim and no return to the scene.
I don't know what the schedule is. That's why I keep asking you.
And I'm not 100% sure either, especially on a lot of the misdemeanor cases. I apologize, Your Honor.
That's all right. Mr. Public Defender?
We'd request a bond be set at $500 in this case, Your Honor.
Okay. He wasn't out on bond, was he?
No.
Do you have some place to live that is not located at the same location of that North Poinciana Boulevard, apartment 207?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right, I'll put the bond at $500 with the proviso that you have no direct or indirect contact with the alleged victim, which means no return to the scene. Don't reach out in person or by any other means, including any kind of text messages, phone calls, social media posting, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you all have a child in common?
Yes, ma'am, too.
2? How old are they?
13.
I got 13. How old was the other one?
6.
6. Before you got arrested, were you all living together?
Yeah, we live together.
And are you going through a dissolution or any kind of family law case? A divorce?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any kind of written agreement regarding custody?
No, ma'am.
Are the kids in school?
Yes.
Do you anticipate having them live with you in some other location than where the mom's living?
For them to able, I think it'd be best if they just stay with the mom.
All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. I have no objection to you visiting with the children, but I don't know how you're going to arrange that without having contact with the mom. You follow me? Are there any grandparents here in town or aunts or uncles on either side of the family that can facilitate that?
Yes. My mother can mediate if that's
Okay. Is her mom around also?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so court will permit contact through the grandparents, and put that in parentheses, plural, either side grandparents. That would not violate this court order for you to reach out to her mom or to your mom to facilitate visitation between you and the children, okay? But I don't want you contacting the victim, the alleged victim directly, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
And Your Honor, defendant requests a one-time return to the residence with the assistance of law enforcement to allow him to obtain his personal belongings.
State, that sounds reasonable. What do you think?
State has no objection with being escorted by law enforcement.
Okay, so you may return to the residence one time to retrieve your personal effects. Do you have any tools or anything like that located there?
No tools.
Okay, so just your toiletries and your clothes, that sort of thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you're allowed to return one time with law enforcement escort to retrieve your things. Once again, either grandparent can facilitate visitation between you and the children. I'm not trying to rule that you can't have the children overnight wherever you're going to be located. I'm just trying to set it up so you can have visitation in one form or another without having contact with the alleged victim, okay? You understand what my court order is?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck. I don't know when your next court date is.
Next court date on demand.
All right, keep in contact with the public defender. Thank you.
Next case, 25 CF 242, Laura Pinzon, PD denied due to incomplete application.
Okay. Are you Laura Pinzon?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll find probable cause on child abuse. State, do you know, was DCF called? I would think that almost everybody was a
I do not have information as to whether DCF was called, but in the event the bond is granted, the state would be requesting non-contact with the child.
Ms. Pinzon, do you live somewhere? Do you have a place to stay other than where Mr. Carlos Morales is located?
Yes.
Okay. How old is this child? He was born in
4.
He's 4. Yeah, great. Have you had contact with DCF regarding this child?
Yeah, last year.
And do you have some kind of case plan with DCF right now involving this child?
What I was told, they dropped it.
They dropped the case plan?
Yeah, they pretty much told me that there was no issues and they never called me or anything.
All right, well.
But it was
State, isn't your office required to report to DCF?
I believe so, Your Honor. I'm covering this today. I wasn't initially supposed to be here, so that's why I'm a little underprepared.
That's okay.
So I apologize on having incomplete information.
Okay.
In terms of DCF.
So I'm going to set the bond at $2,500. Appoint the public defender. If you make your bond as a condition of your bond, you're not to have not to have contact and certainly not custody of Oliver Morales, date of birth 8/20/2020. It's a lot of 20s. August 20th of 2020. So you understand you can't take care of your son while this is pending?
Yes.
Okay. And I'll direct the prosecutor's office to contact DCF regarding this case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Make sure you keep in contact with the public defender if you bond out, and here's your next court date.
Next court date will be on demand.
All right. Thank you very much.
Next case, 25 MM 181, Jose Elias Ramirez, PD denied due to incomplete application.
Okay, so Mr. Ramirez.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Can anybody with pretrial release tell me, what's he on probation for? It says sex offender? Is he under the Jimmy Rice or Jessica Lunsford Act or any of those other acts that put restrictions on him?
One moment, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the defense would object to PTR in this case based on Florida, the prior convictions based on Florida statute 741-2901 subsection 3. This is a domestic violence case.
That's okay. I'm still interested to know why somebody wrote here he's a sex offender. Where's that come from?
We don't show him on probation for anything, but, we're pulling up more information to provide you with. One moment.
Okie dokie. If I remember correctly, Jessica Lunsford or one of those other acts, it could have been Rice, but I think it's Jessica Lunsford. Even after any period of incarceration and or completion of probation, they're still under supervision with the Department of Corrections, I think. I don't know if it's under probation parole, but it's state. You know anything about Jessica Lunsford? Sorry.
I don't, Your Honor. I handle trafficking cases. I've never handled anything in that arena.
Well, I know when I've done pleas and sentencing, it seems to me some of those statutes stick on you for the rest of your life. Jimmy Rice is obviously a civil commitment, but the Jessica Lunsford, I think, is the one that requires supervision, even if after probation. Maybe, does the public defender know anything about the Jessica Lunsford Act?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. What was the question?
Do you know anything about, there's an act that involves sex offenders. It's called Name for a Victim, whose name was Jessica Lunsford, Lundsford.
I believe it has to do with reporting, but I'm not super familiar with that, Your Honor.
It does require reporting, and I think it requires reporting even after a person has served their entire sentence. That's what I remember about. Anyway, for some reason, PTR, the initial people at the jail, the corrections department thought that he's got a sex offender status for some reason. That's the reason why I'm asking, is where did the jail come up with that? Their research.
Yes, so we have the information. So he was convicted in 1998, and that doesn't have an expiration date.
Right, and that conviction was under Jessica Lunsford or some other sex offender act?
We don't have that information.
You just show that DOC is supervising him, correct?
It doesn't mention any of those acts that you just mentioned.
Okay. He's not on probation, but DOC is still following him?
Doesn't seem like they're following him. It just has him under, he's just labeled as a sex offender, and that's for, that doesn't have an expiration date.
Okay. All right. That answers it as well as I can. Get it answered. Anyway, so I'll find probable cause on battery, simple battery. So we're not to disclose the victim's contact, location.
And Your Honor, the state would also request no contact with the victim and no return to the scene.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to point the public defender's office. I'll find PC on domestic violence battery. You're not to return to the scene. You're not to have direct or indirect contact, not only with the victim, but also your son or the victim's son. I assume that you're the father, but it'd be a bad assumption. Bond. Because of that sex offender status, the court's going to set a higher bond. I'll put it at $5,000. Point to PD. Take your bond. Remember, no contact with the victim or son, the victim's son. And they'll let you know if they file, right? All right.
And Your Honor, defense would request a one-time return with the assistance of law enforcement.
No, sir, because as I'm assuming the victim is relocating, and under Marcy's law, they've asked not to divulge the victim's contact information or location, so no, he cannot return. Sorry.
Next court date on demand.
Thank you.
Next case, 25 CF 248, Michael George Tesgarakis.
Could be cigar. Yeah, we're both feeling that. Sorry.
I'll ask him to pronounce it.
Sir, how do you say your last name?
Sakrakis.
Satrakis, thank you.
PD approved.
So the public defender's been appointed to represent you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll find probable cause on possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of controlled substance. Why is the bond so high on that one? 2,500. Possession of methamphetamine, it's not fentanyl.
No, Your Honor, but I believe 2,500 is standard for the possession of controlled substances.
It's been too long since I've done this stuff. I don't remember anymore. All right, point to PD. Do you guys have to wait to get results from some kind of lab before you make charging decision?
We file based on the presumptive positive that the law enforcement runs, and then if need be, it's amended if FDLE comes back as another type of drug.
Okay. All right. You have a job?
Yeah, I told the public defender I didn't have a job. I'm working under the table for a guy. He's paying me under the table until he sees that I'm fit. I just started it 2 weeks ago. I got $110 in my account right now. I keep money on me. I'm not like really homeless, but I'm struggling right now, and this just beat me down.
Is he somebody that could go to drug court? Or you have to make a filing decision first?
We'd have to make a filing decision first, Your Honor.
What kind of bond can you make?
Probably like 2,000.
On strenuous objection of the prosecutor, I'll set your bond the amount of 2,000 on count 2 and ROR you on count 1. Okay? If you make your bond,
Yes,
you keep in contact with the public defender.
I will. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. Make sure you return to court. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next court date on demand. And just to confirm, 2000. Your Honor.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. In the ROR count.
RO account.
Yeah, that's all I have to do is post the 200.
And no conditions.
Right, no conditions.
Next case, 25 CF 243, Maximo Arnulfo Flores, PD approved.
Okay, Mr. Flores, now, this question is for, I guess, pretrial release. If I understand this correctly, he was out on bond. Court's going to find probable cause on a new law offense of violation of no contact order and violation of a domestic violence injunction. Right, State? That's what he's being charged with now.
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
This was reset due to a lack of probable cause to give the state time to supplement the arrest report in regards to count 1.
Right.
I have not received any supplement, and I don't see any probable cause for count 1. There's nothing in there that shows any conviction as required by Florida statute 921244.
Okay.
So we request he be ROR'd on count 1 at this time.
Okay, so State, what's your position on that? Because it looks like it was reset regarding just count 1, the PC part. But if I remember correctly, his bond was revoked on the other 2 cases that were pending, right? Pretrial release, is that what happened?
yes, his bond was revoked yesterday.
Okay, so State, do you care?
As long as bond's been revoked on those cases.
Yeah, that's my understanding of it. So I'm not undoing the revoking of the bonds in 25 MM 154 and 25 CF 203. So those 2 will be bond revoked. And on this case, I'll continue to find no probable cause on count 1 and set the bond in violation of domestic violence injunction, what, at 1,000? State?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so PD, you're appointed. We'll set the bond on count 2 at 1,000 and continue to find no PC on count 1.
Thank
Your
you.
Honor, the bond for count 2 was already set yesterday,
Oh, what was it set at?
$10,000.
Oh, well, let's not reduce it. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I thought you said $10,000.
I might have.
My apologies,
Who
Your Honor.
knows? It's late after lunch. Okay, so we'll leave it at 10,000. Thank you, and continue to find no PC on count 1, but the bond's revoked on the other cases. We'll leave that as is, and we'll leave the bond at 10,000 on count 2 as is. Count 1 is, yeah, all ROR, well, based on probable cause, all ROR. All right, thank you for letting me know. Is that it?
And the next court date would be on demand for that case.
All right, good luck, Mr. Flores. I think that wraps us up. Anybody forgotten?
I believe that's it, Your Honor.
All right, well, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
You have a good day, Your Honor.
Thanks, you do the same, bye. What did I do? Oh.